Hi, everyone. Okay, we're going to get started for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's webinar is all about introducing Jotform Enterprise Mobile, our latest product offering exclusively for Jotform Enterprise clients. If you're new to Jotform, welcome. Jotform offers a suite of no-code solutions designed to help organizations collect, share, and manage their data. It all starts with our incredibly powerful drag and drop form builder. For those of you who are familiar with Jotform, we're excited to show you how Jotform Enterprise Mobile enhances your ability to keep teams informed and connected on the go and in the field. Today, I'm grateful to have two of my colleagues joining us today. Morgan will be monitoring the chat, so if you have any questions during the webinar, please put them in there and we'll do our best to answer them for you. David is our customer support guru. He's also with us today. David is a Jotform Enterprise expert and is here to help us answer your questions. One final note, this webinar is being recorded and it will be posted to our YouTube channel for future reference. So without further ado, let's get things started. Here's a quick overview of what we'll be discussing today. First, we'll share an overview of Jotform Enterprise Mobile. Jotform Enterprise Mobile is the latest in a series of innovations designed to support organizations in remote and mobile environments. So we'll quickly touch on how this latest product differs from and builds upon our earlier products. Next, we'll talk about all the ways you can customize an app with Jotform Enterprise Mobile. We'll also review your options for publishing and considerations to help you think through which option might be the best for your particular situation. Once we've covered all the basics of Jotform Enterprise Mobile, we'll dive into a quick demo and discuss some use cases to help you think about how you might incorporate Jotform Enterprise Mobile into your experience. After that, we'll share some resources and let you know how you can get started if you're ready to take the next steps. And then finally, we'll wrap up with Q&A. So please do stay tuned for questions. All right, here's our overview. What is Jotform Enterprise Mobile? Jotform Enterprise Mobile is the latest innovation from Jotform, offering a fully customized native app that can be published on the Apple App and Google Play stores. Jotform Enterprise Mobile apps are custom built by Jotform for our enterprise clients, and they are perfect for white labeling. Jotform Enterprise Mobile gives you the power of Jotform Enterprise in your pocket. You can collect data, get notifications, view submissions, manage your approvals, and access exclusive Jotform Enterprise features with a white-labeled app for your smartphone or your tablet. With Jotform Enterprise Mobile, you'll have everything you need to keep teams productive wherever their business takes them. Some of these features include GPS location and signature capture, QR and barcode scanners, voice recorders, file uploads, and much more. Now, I want to take a quick moment here to explain some other mobile-friendly products from Jotform, just to clarify how Jotform Enterprise Mobile differs from those and what makes it unique. Let's start with Jotform Apps. Jotform Apps lets Jotform users build their own no-code apps with a drag-and-drop experience. The key difference here is Jotform Apps are perfect for organizations that either don't need or don't want to publish their app on the Apple App and Google Play stores. These apps are published with a link, via an email, or using a QR code. Jotform apps can be downloaded onto any smartphone, tablet, or computer, and some common use cases for Jotform apps include small business online orders and surveys, sharing multiple forms with one link, or creating an online portal to host internal resources and forms. But again, Jotform apps not available on the App Store or Google Play. Another mobile-friendly product we have are Jotform mobile forms. This is ideal for non-enterprise single-user accounts, otherwise known as our bronze, silver, and gold accounts, excuse me. Those are used to collect and manage submission data without a Wi-Fi connection. Now, the primary difference between Jotform Enterprise Mobile and Jotform Mobile Forms is that Jotform Mobile Forms is not white labelable. So when you search for Jotform Mobile Forms on the App Store, you will see a Jotform logo, you will see the Jotform icon and name. Whereas Jotform Enterprise Mobile gives you the ability to customize your app using your desired logo, color, and branding for a consistent white labeled experience in the app stores. So again, Jotform Mobile Forms for our gold, silver, bronze, and Jotform Enterprise Mobile for our enterprise clients. Let's talk a little bit more about experience. Jotform Enterprise Mobile offers a completely customizable and white labelable app to meet all the needs of our enterprise customers. Like I said, you can customize the brand color, the logo, and the app icon to meet whatever specifications you need. You can create an app for your organization's use, or you can develop a fully white labeled app to offer as a service to your clients. Jotform Enterprise Mobile also simplifies the enterprise login experience with direct access to your Jotform Enterprise account. You simply download the app to manage all your forms, submissions, and approvals with a click. Now let's talk a little bit about publishing options and how you can customize these to match your desired audience. As I mentioned, Jotform Enterprise Mobile differs from Jotform apps in that it can be published on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Now you have several options when publishing your app to the Apple App Store and Google Play stores, and you can do this to either maximize your visibility or customize to reach a specific audience. Let's start with the option that most people are familiar with, which is a publicly published app. Having this publicly published app allows anyone to search for, find, or download your app in the app stores. Public apps are perfect for serving customers, engaging your community members, or building awareness. Another option is to publish your app as unlisted. Unlisted apps are still distributed through the stores, but they will not show up in search results, category listings, or the developer pages. These apps are only available to people who are given a link to access it. So the links for these unlisted apps are generated by Apple and Google. Now, another consideration would be if your organization or educational institution has an Apple Business Manager or an Apple School Manager program. Jotform Enterprise can custom develop a white labeled app for that program. So if you're not familiar with it, these programs allow companies and schools to purchase and manage devices so they have greater control over the content that they're delivering. This includes control of which apps to install on those devices using mobile device management. So we can publish these apps for your specific business or school, so only your employees or only your teachers or students can access and download your app. Finally, for enterprise clients who have an Apple Enterprise developer account or are considering one, we can create an in-house app for you to distribute privately to your employees. These apps are published via an over-the-air server for private in-house use, and it's using a link, a QR code, or mobile device management. So again, 4 different options for you. You can opt for public listing for maximum exposure. You can have an unlisted app, which is on the stores but not searchable. You can use your Apple Business Manager or Apple School Manager program, or use your Apple Enterprise Developer account for that over-the-air private solution. Finally, once you've decided on which app public is right for you, then you can choose to either take that final step of publishing it and making it live on your own, or alternatively, our enterprise support teams are here to help you and assist you with that step. Similarly, as your app needs grow, if you have updates to it or you need to make some changes, we can also assist you with that. All right, now that we have a great overview of the program and the features and functions, I want to give you a quick view of what the experience looks like. We'll do a little demo here. All right, so the first thing I want you to notice, as I mentioned, Jotform apps is not white labelable. So you would see the Jotform icon and the Jotform logo. Here you see Acme Forms, which is just our generic showing of a way it could show up. You obviously get to choose the name and the color and the branding and the logo of your app. So let's go through some of the features. You open it up and you see you have access to your forms and creating a form. I'm going to just go quickly over creating a form. For those of you that are not familiar, you can start from scratch. You have access to a ton of different templates. You can choose by industry, search by profession, if you want to get started with a template. You can also import forms if you have them existing on your web page or an existing Jotform form. For this particular purpose, we're just going to start with this vendor approval and payment form. It's already built. And you see how you can add different fields to this. There are a ton of different basic form elements, lots of payment options you can drag in with a click, as well as widgets, everything from photos and IDs. For settings and looking at customizing your form, there are lots of quick ways to change your colors and styles with a simple click. A lot of enterprise clients like to create their own themes. You can design themes and share them with your team here and choose your layout. Form settings, lots of options here right from the app, everything from translations and passwords, auto-deleting your data, SSO, lots of options here. Additionally, emails, a lot of people asked about notifications. You can notify the people as they fill out the form or the person who's looking for the submission. You can use conditional logic to customize your form further. You can also create thank you pages or redirect people from the forms. Lots of integrations to choose from for your form, ways to sort those in search. You can see your approval flows if you have approvals connected to those. We'll talk a little bit more about those later, as well as mobile notifications, simple toggle on and off, and you can edit the text, how they show up, drawing directly from your form fields to customize how those show up. All right, let's go back out of this and look at publishing. Publishing, the link will create automatically. You can embed your form if you need to. You can assign your form right here from the app. You can assign it to everyone in your organization or just pick and choose. There are different platforms that are available if you want to remind people or prompt them to fill out your form. Again, pre-fill is available here. You can download your report as a PDF, lots of reporting options with Jotform as well, and additional third-party platforms to help you publish your forms. All right, we're going to back out of here and let's go ahead and fill out this form. Let's say I'm out in the field. I've got an important order that needs to come through. My supplier suddenly can't provide what they need, and I need this order to go out. I need approval because I'm not sure we've worked with this vendor before, and I need to go through the proper process. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out this form, say, I'm not really sure if this person has worked with us before. This is roughly the amount of money we're going to need to spend. Sign the form and submit it. You're going to see a pop-up here that shows that this person received the submission because it's going directly to my email. And I get a thank you that you've filled out the form. Now let's go in and look at submissions. It's going to load, and there's that submission. You can go through and scroll and look at the submission, look at what they're asking for. And right from here, I see it's waiting. I can either click here and take over, approve it right away and move things forward. I can reassign it if somebody else needs to make the call, add a little message for context. There's also options to edit the form from here if you need to. You can share it. Additional options to print, download, star if you need to follow up later, or just straight up cancel it. Let's go back out of here and let's look at approvals. A similar view here, you can see approvals that are in process, see how many there are, and you can sort them, look at them by newest. You can look at your starred ones if there's something you're tracking, look at them by unread. And additionally, same look from the approvals. You have an inbox here. You can see what's assigned to you. And also you can sort them just as you did in the submissions folder by newest, oldest, read, unread. Lots of options for taking a look at things, organizing, and staying connected. So that's a quick overview of the experience. We're going to go back to our slides here. All right. Now that you've had a quick view of the experience, let's discuss some use cases. We highlighted on a few in the demo, but ideally you want to be able to capture data at a remote site or where internet access is unreliable or not available. Jotform Enterprise Mobile is perfect for that. A couple of ideas are environmental services and surveyors. If you're deep in the forest, if you're out at sea or in wide open spaces, you can collect the data you need right there on site to keep things moving forward. Supply chain, shipping and logistics, We've had a lot of talk about that in the last couple of years. You can get reporting from the road and from the field and keep things moving. Safety inspections are another great way to think about using Jotform Enterprise Mobile. Whether you have routine testing sites, that you have remote healthcare clinics, there's lots of use cases for having something that's available on a phone or on a tablet. Similarly, there's great opportunity for kiosks at polling places, conferences, and more. A lot of people are looking forward to getting back into in-person conferences. This is a great way to not have to worry about what kind of Wi-Fi you're going to have there. Are you going to be competing with a lot of people? You've got this mobile device. It's very simple, easy to keep people connected. Similarly, if you have event planners, people that are coordinating with teams across various locations, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of this, collect information while you're out there on site looking at different options. I know we had some folks from nonprofits and churches joining us today. Jotform Enterprise Mobile is a great opportunity to host signups or event registration, keeping connected with your community, requesting donations, whatever you really need to collect out there with your organization. It's also a wonderful way to increase awareness and reach out to customers. Again, we can look at that publicly available app. It helps you get further reach with the listing. You can get surveys through there, maybe a store, whatever you need. Similarly, HR teams and staffing agencies can use this to register employees, connect and collect onboarding documentation, and gather feedback. Schools and universities, we mentioned the various account management programs that are available. You can use Jotform Enterprise Mobile to disseminate content on dedicated devices or just stay connected with your teams or community. Businesses can also use Jotform Enterprise Mobile to stay connected with their remote teams, distribute their content through their business manager or developer account, or create a fully white-labeled native mobile app as a service to their clients. So lots of opportunities for use, lots of great use cases. Okay, I wanted to make you aware there is a blog on our website. If you're looking for more information and you want to dig deeper, or if you want to just read through some of the things we've discussed today, I'd encourage you to take a look at this blog. We also have a dedicated product page, so lots of information for you to access, and I encourage you to take advantage of it and take a look. If you like what you've seen and heard here today and you're an enterprise admin, I have great news for you. This option is already available from your admin console. You will find a new tab on your admin console. It's all the way over to the right, and it says mobile app. So you'll find that in your navigation tabs where you typically access the dashboard, your activity log, and your account settings. When you click on that tab, you get a sneak peek of what your app would look like. You can choose the name for your app. You can upload a logo or use the default logo if you've already included one with your account settings. And you can also select a color to match your preferred branding. Once you're ready, simply click the Send App Request button to start the process. Our Jotform Enterprise team will reach out to you about your request to get more details about the type of app you want to create. As discussed earlier, there are several options, including iOS, Android, public, private. We'll talk through all those options with you to make sure that you get just the right experience. If you're not an enterprise client already, I encourage you to contact the enterprise sales team for information on signing up and getting started. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us. We really appreciate your time today. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Morgan and David to answer any questions that may have come in through the chat. Morgan, what are you seeing in the chat?
Well, first, Lainey, I wanted to say that was awesome. I know this is a product I don't know quite as much about, so I personally learned a lot, so thank you. We do have a bunch of questions in the chat, and we also had some questions that came in a lot during registration that I am going to include here. First question that we got in registration and in the chat quite a bit actually is there the option to do push notifications with this?
So currently there isn't push notifications that you can send out to the other users that have installed your app, but you can receive push notifications when your forms receive submissions or approvals get updated and those sort of status updates for your forms. But you can't push out notifications to others that have installed your app currently.
Awesome, great. If there are updates to that in the future, we will definitely share that out with the user community. So stay tuned on updates from us. Another question that's come in a lot is there an additional cost to use Jotform Enterprise Mobile?
There is, but that cost varies. So if you are interested in going forward or you just want a little bit more information, definitely contact support or sales and we can get you whatever information you need.
And is Jotform Enterprise Mobile supported by the enterprise support teams, and does it fall under the other enterprise support?
It is, yeah. It's also supported by our engineering and development team as well. We'll sort of handhold you through the whole process.
Awesome, great. My gosh, it's I am just trying to read through everything that's coming in through the Q&A. So thank you all for those of you who are sharing your questions. Is there a different price for nonprofit organizations?
I don't believe so, but we'd need to check. Typically, we do give a discount on user licenses, but not for the additional stuff like HIPAA compliance. But I'm actually not 100% sure on that one. So if there is a nonprofit that is interested and they're on Enterprise or just want more info, our sales team can absolutely give whatever info is needed.
Cool. David, you just mentioned HIPAA compliance, and we do have another question in the Q&A about privacy involved in submission data. So could you talk a little bit about just general privacy?
Sure. So everything's stored in your Jotform account, whether it be on standard or enterprise, is completely private. We don't share your data. We don't access it unless you ask us to. It's completely private top to bottom. So there's even additional things for the GDPR and CCPA compliance aspects and things like that, especially on the enterprise side of things with the right to be forgotten. So not only is your own data private, but if someone has those sort of privacy requests, at least on the enterprise side of things, we have tools to be able to assist with, scrubbing someone's user data as a privacy request as well.
Great. There are switching gears there. There are a bunch of questions about managing devices in activity. So I guess, David, if you could talk maybe broadly about how somebody could manage the devices that they'd be using for enterprise mobile activity and users. And while you're talking, I know there are some more specific questions too. So I'm going to comb the Q&A for some more specifics that I'll follow up with.
Sure. So through that same enterprise console where you would get the app initially set up, you'll also have the ability to manage the devices that are connected to that app. So if you do have a private app, you'd be able to see how many users have installed it, who's installed it, all those sort of statistics, revoke permission, but you would have that level of management over who can and cannot install the app. There will be a button to invite users and those sort of management options through that admin console.
Great, thank you. One of the more specific questions is, do you have the ability to create different levels of access for different users? So could you talk about that?
Somewhat. So on the enterprise side of things, again, this is, and I only say somewhat because it's not different in the Jotform mobile compared to enterprise. So on enterprise, you do have those sort of access levels with being able to grant permissions to who has access to stuff either at like the form level or at the folder level, or even giving access to a specific inbox or tables view. But all of that is available already on enterprise. There aren't additional sort of features available on the mobile, but there are absolutely varying abilities to provide different levels of access to even specific parts of the environment if you wanted to.
Great, thank you. There are also a couple of questions about users and user submissions. So will users of the app be able to edit their own submissions?
Yes, they actually can already. So the way that works is we have what we refer to as our assignee feature. So if you assign someone a form, not only will they then be able to create a guest account, log into the app, and fill out that form through the mobile app, but there's an additional setting when you assign the form that's not only submit, but I think it's like literally submit and edit as the permission. And what that allows for doing is not only when they log in will they see that assigned form, but they'll also be able to see what they have previously submitted, as well as edit what they have previously submitted. And in that sort of use case, it would only be access to their own submissions.
Yeah, there's another question that is along the same line. So can a customer keep their form submissions? So if they, fill out a form, are their answers accessible to them? And I think that covers that question as well. But you can also send them, a message when they complete a form, that has all of their data included in there as well. Anything
Absolutely,
else
yeah.
you'd mention there?
No, I mean, you can, like you said, you can send out emails when the form is submitted. So if you don't want to have that sort of login process and stuff, and you're okay with them just looking it back up from email, you can. And in those emails, you can even include a link to be able to edit that submission.
Great, thank you. I know in registration, there were a number of questions about integrating with various different things. So can you just talk generally about available integration options?
Sure. So inherently, we have somewhere around like 100 or so integrations at this point. It's pretty crazy, the list actually. Most of those are simple, just authentication between Jotform and whatever third-party app you're trying to send the data to. And then the data gets sent over in whatever expected format. And by that, I mean, like, if you're integrating with a Google Docs spreadsheet, it's going to get a spreadsheet of data, row by row, column by column submissions. If you're integrating with Google Drive, you'll get a PDF of the submission data. Salesforce gets an object with the data. So depending on the app, it gets different formats of data.
Cool, thank you. Sorry, still just trying to read through questions as they come in and make sure that I understand them before I throw them out there. There's, I guess this is a good one. Does the information that is in your Jotform app, can it be client facing, or is it specifically set up to be team facing? I think you've already talked a little bit about that, but can you clarify that? Because as Lainey mentioned at the beginning of this session, there are a couple of different Jotform mobile options out there.
Sure. So on the mobile app specifically, it can be either one. So with those sort of assignee features where you're inviting people to fill out your forms, or you need them to be able to use offline forms, and just those sort of mobile app specific features, that's more so like the client, or like, someone who's going to be out in the field and doesn't necessarily need to be creating forms or managing overall data or reports or anything. That's more like the client facing approach. But you have the full-fledged suite of options like Lainey was showing, where you can create forms, manage data, and do all that sort of stuff within the app as well through one of your licensed Jotform logins. So sort of multi-usage in terms of what the person needs to get out of it, or in some cases you want to limit what they have access to, so you don't want them to be able to create forms and do all that other stuff that might actually confuse them. You just want to have that focused, okay, I assigned you a form, all I want you to do is fill out that form, you log into the app, all you see is that form.
Yeah, there is another question that specifically says, can we limit forms and submission based on users? So I think you just hit that one as well. Another question is, can I create multiple sub apps for more than one customer? And I know we had a couple of questions in registration about creating various folders for resources as well. So maybe if you could talk a little bit about organization and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so if you're a reseller on Enterprise and you do want to have a custom app as sort of like a product that you're offering to your client, You can have, multiple apps per client. Believe there is fees per app, that sort of structure. But we don't limit you and say, oh, you can only have one custom app for your one client. If you want to go through the process for all your clients or have 3 different apps for one of your clients, absolutely. In terms of like the more apps, like the Jotform apps package of forms, I believe you can actually do random stuff like embedding a full web page into those apps. So if you wanted to have an app within an app, you could. But yeah, for the most part, we don't limit your ability to do that sort of thing. It just depends on which sort of app environment you're looking to work in for the approach to doing it.
Great, thank you. There are a couple more questions. A number of them are pretty specific to individual accounts. So I think for those of you who are asking about, how do I do this? How do I do this with your specific forms? Probably the best course of action is to, if you are an enterprise user, is to get in touch with enterprise support. So you can talk to folks like David to help you out with that. And if you're not an enterprise user, enterprise sales is a great option, and they can explain, the differences between enterprise and our bronze and silver and gold plans and what you can do with each of those. I think there are maybe two other questions I wanted to. A couple of people asking if there will be a replay of this session or if this will be viewable later. So yes, we should have this up on our YouTube channel by tomorrow. So you can just, search YouTube Jotform, or it's youtube.com/user/the Jotform. And you'll see it in our webinar section. So again, that should be up tomorrow, probably Friday at the latest. So if you are looking to watch this again or share it with somebody, you can do that. Or feel free to get in touch with any of us and we'd be happy to send you the link when it's available. I think there was, oh my gosh, sorry, there's still a couple of open questions that I'm trying to make sure that we address. With mobile notifications, so as Lainey, as Lainey was going through the demo there, does the Jotform logo show in the notification center, or is that something that you can also customize?
With the new mobile or Jotform mobile enterprise version, fully customizable. So every logo, every color scheme, all that stuff is all branded to your organization. That's one of the absolute major benefits of this app is we can go through it. And if you say my logo isn't showing properly here, we can replace that with your logo. So, it's basically the main purpose of this is to allow for those sorts of full end-to-end customizations in the app, so that if someone installs your app, there's no Jotform reference anywhere. It's your logos everywhere. Similar to the enterprise environment, we were hoping to extend that same sort of full white labeling to the mobile app.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, one last question that I'm going to throw out to you. What is the best way to learn more about Jotform in general? We release things pretty quickly and often, and this is, a release that builds on stuff that we've released over the past couple of months. Is there a good way to accelerate Jotform knowledge?
Our help guide. Our help guide has everything, from how do you create your first web form to how do I trigger a webhook to get my form data off to my own endpoint. So it has a little bit of everything for everyone, regardless of skill level. And we have very nice YouTube videos for most of at least our popular guides. So in addition to our help guides, if you want to go over to our YouTube has tons of different videos, but all of those videos are usually included on a blog somewhere, one of our help guides. So the two of those are really, really helpful.
Cool. So I think that covers all of the questions. Again, there are some that were very specific to your use cases. So David, do you mind just recapping how people can get in touch with you if they have questions about their account specifically?
Sure. If you're an enterprise user, our enterprise support email is the best way to get a hold of us as usual. If you have any sales questions and you aren't quite sure who to get a hold of, contact us as well. We're happy to route things or get a hold of the right person to put you in touch with them.
Great. So Lainey, on that note, I will throw things back over to you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Morgan and David. Really appreciate you guys helping us get through all those questions and answer everything for everyone. That's all we have for you today. So again, this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel, likely tomorrow, if not latest on Friday. We encourage you to take a look at the blog, the product pages, and those help guides. As for any questions you may have, by all means, reach out to our enterprise support or enterprise sales team, depending on whether or not you're already an enterprise client. Thanks so much, and we hope you join us for a future webinar. Take care.